Hello, Jeff Sawyer with JS Solutions. This video will be part 6 in the series of how to interview, and this is on situational questions, and the questions we'll be talking about today will be communication. This is a big one. There's lots and lots of questions you can ask on communication. As always, I'm always grading them. I will tick out probably 3 or 4. Communications is a big one to me because communication breakdown in the workforce seems to be one of the most irritating and commonplace problems I find, even in my own buildings that I've ran, and then plus others that I've been doing consulting work for. Communication breakdown is a horrible beast, and it's something you need to always be trying to better yourself at. So let's get started with the questions. Describe a situation in which you were able to effectively read another person and guide your actions by your understanding of the individual needs or values. Okay. Describe a situation where you're able to strengthen a relationship by communicating effectively. What made your communication effective? Describe a situation you felt you had not communicated well. How did you correct the situation? That's a great question right there. It really is, because we don't always communicate great. You know, today's management style, 30 years ago, one management style fit everybody. Now you have to manage everybody differently. So that's a great question right there. Describe a situation where you felt you had not communicated well. Just read that one. Describe a time when you were able to effectively communicate a difficult or unpleasant idea to a supervisor. Describe the most significant written document, report, or presentation which you had to complete. Give me an example of a time when you were able to successfully communicate with another person, even when that individual may not have personally liked you, or vice versa. Like there's never been conflict in a workplace before, right? Give me an example of a time when you were able to successfully communicate with other person, even when that individual may not have personally liked you. Have you ever had to sell an idea to a coworker or a group? How did you do it? And did they buy it? How do you keep subordinates informed about the information that affects their job? That's a biggie. I ask that one just about every interview. How do you keep your manager informed on what is being done in your work area? How do you go about explaining a complex technical problem to a person who does not understand technical jargon? What approach do you take to communicating with people? This is a good one when interviewing like manager type people, when you're looking for a leadership role, because like I say, one size manager does not fit everybody. You have to manage everybody on a different level and in a different pace. So that's a great question for that. What kinds of communication situation cause you difficulty? Give me an example. Tell us about a recent successful experience in making a speech or presentation. How did you prepare? What obstacles did you face? And how did you handle them? Tell me about a time when you or your current previous supervisor disagreed, but you still found a way to get your point across. Tell me about a time when you had to present a complex information. How did you ensure that the other person understood it? Tell me more about a time when you had to use verbal communication skills in order to get a point across that was important to you. Tell me about a time when you were particularly effective in a talk you gave or a seminar you taught. Tell me about an experience in which you had to speak up in order to be sure that the other people knew what you thought or felt. Tell me about a situation when you had to speak up, be assertive in order to get your point across that was important to you. Tell me about a time when you had to use your written communication skills in order to get an important point across. What challenges have occurred while you were coordinating work with other units, departments, and/or divisions? Here's a great question. What have you done to improve your verbal communication skills? How have you persuaded people through a document you prepared? What is the most challenging documents you have done? What kinds of proposals have you written? What kinds of writing have you done, and how do you prepare written communications? When it comes to communication, there's all types of forms of it. There's written, there's verbal, and it's very important in the workplace that people can adhere to both of these. So here again, pick 2 or 3 of these questions to ask, 1 or 2, depending on how well you need this person to communicate. It all depends on the job you're hiring for. For example, somebody that may be running a weed eater. don't need a whole lot of communication, just to their boss. I may ask one question, may not. Somebody that's like a lead person for me inside one of my buildings, that's going to require to be able to teach people other things. I'm going to probably ask 3 or 4 of these questions on communication. It all depends on the job you have, the personality you're looking for, and once again, you can always ask, what else, and tell me more. The more deeper you dig into them, the better your hire will be. Keep in mind, you're going to be scoring all of this, and you ask 10 or 12 questions out of the entire video series to be able to come up with a reasonable aspect of this person that you're looking at, to know whether or not that personality is going to fit the job you're hiring for. Remember, sometimes it's always about the person as much as the personality. So once again, if you have any questions, you can always email me at jssawyersolutions@gmail.com. You can always leave comments at the bottom here and at the bottom. And always have a great day.